Okay, I think I got everything set up. Like I said, okay, so let me explain myself here. Lily, hi. Let me explain myself here. Okay, so I just I just got a new webcam for like horror streams and whatnot, yada yada yada. And I'm giving it a shot here for like maybe half an hour at the most. Um, just to see, if it's good or not. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of I'm messing around. So I'm gonna quickly, gonna give you the white guy jump scare in just a second. So I haven't done a webcam stream in a while. It's kind of awkward talking to a camera, but this is it. It's not like studio quality, but you can see my face, and that's all that matters. This, I hope you can. Yeah, it looks good. So yeah, this isn't gonna be anything cool or fun, really. It's just to make sure that this works and that I have it at least somewhat set up for the actual important things, which is why this is on Twitch and not YouTube. Um, Hello everybody, Silicontent here, and welcome back to another stream. There we go, got that out of the way. That's my quota. So now, I'm going to do the fun part where I look over at my second monitor while I'm dicking around with my settings. And so I can get that going. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I don't know it, nor do I care. So, let's do that. There we go. It's beautiful already. I'm going to try it. Let's see if this works. Beautiful. Okay, cool. This I am such an epic gamer at this point. So yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily have a plan. I'm just kind of doing stuff. So yeah, like I said, this is just the test to see if the webcam works. By the looks of things, I'd say we're doing okay. For future videos, and because like one of the things that I liked about what was it, the 3 random horror games video, if anyone has seen that, is the webcam in it, just because I think you can do a lot of funny edits with the webcam. And I think I've learned some things from that video on how to edit the webcam specifically, that I'm not going to go into detail because no one cares. So I'm hoping that the next time I use the webcam for like a horror game or something, because I think the webcam, at least for me, is probably more pertinent in a horror game rather than all the time, just because I don't really care to put my face in my videos except for like thumbnails and stuff, because I think thumbnails, it's funny to put yourself in there because it's like, oh, you're actually in the game or whatever. So like for the changed like part 3 or 4, I took a picture of myself and put that in the thumbnail just because I thought it was funny. But it's not like the actual video used the webcam or anything. I don't know. My last webcam that I had, it's one that I've had for a while. I didn't really use it all that much, just because, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of showing this. I mean, like, who wants to look at this? Like, come on. But I started using it more and more frequently, especially when the FNAF game streams came about, like last year. So I started using those more, just so you could actually see my reaction to like jump scares and whatnot. Because that's where I think the webcam is most effective, is when you get to see me like launch back in the chair, or, like, But then I don't know if it got jostled or what, but at some point it just kind of stopped working. Like my computer just stopped detecting it. I think I'm stone at this point. And so, oh hey Dove, hey, what are you doing? Oh, okay, understood then. Jesus. It just stopped working, and so I couldn't use it even in videos or streams where I actually wanted to use it. Which is why, like this Sunday, I went onto Amazon and I found this one. This is a Logitech I think it's Brio. Tough. What are you doing? I'm not sure what's going on there. It's like a Logitech Brio 101 or something. 1080p. It's not the fanciest thing. It's not the most high quality thing, but that's not really what I'm after here. I'm after something that works. That's not gonna absolutely destroy my wallet. Because like I said, it's not like webcam content is like my whole shtick. My whole shtick is, well, it's the guy who gets mad at the furry game first and foremost, but it's also the funny edits guy, or the I make weird sounds at video games guy, or I'm the Jack Williams guy, which I mean that requires a webcam, but like you could use other things besides a traditional webcam for that. I don't know. I'm not. If you couldn't tell, I didn't really plan this ahead. I came up with this in like 5 seconds. Hey, how you doing? Okay, good answer. So I'm still. This is, a test of 1, make sure that it works. 2, make sure that the scenes that I had set up are actually functional. And 3 to... cat. 3 to check, like, lighting and stuff, because I know that that is one thing that I'm not the greatest at is, lighting. So, like, right now, there's a light over... in this direction, and then there's the ceiling light above me, and this light is kind of harsh. I could move it around, but just in its current position it's kind of harsh. But not having it on, it's way too dark and everything gets super grainy, grainier than it is right now. So I feel kind of, see if I can't adjust that slightly so that, there we go. I'm a bit more centered in the frame. Yeah, so like having that light to my right on only, it's like super harsh lighting. And then having that light on behind me, I don't think there's enough lighting on my face. So I have them both. I don't know, like I said, this is an experiment. Which is why I'm doing this on Twitch, so that no one will see it. Because no one's going back and watching my Twitch VODs on YouTube, at least not right now. So, like, come on. But that's my spiel. That's kind of the one thing I had planned. I guess we can talk about other things. What else do you want to talk about? We're coming up on, at least on YouTube anyways, we're coming up on 1K. That's pretty cool. I didn't actually think we'd ever get this far. I thought we'd be kind of stuck at like maybe 980 like permanently, and then I actually made content and people joined and subscribed. So we're at the time of streaming this, we're at like 993. So we're only 7 people away from hitting the big number, and then I'm sure like a bunch of people are gonna unsubscribe either because they realized, oh god, I don't watch this guy, he doesn't make content anymore. Or people are gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be so funny if as soon as he hits 1K we just completely mass on sub, which is why which I'm expecting my friends to do. So that's an idea for them if they haven't thought about that already. But I'm not gonna it's not gonna be like this super big thing, because YouTube, it's not like my main goal in life is to be a YouTuber. It might have been at one point because I was a naive child, but now I have other things I want to do, and this is more just kind of a hobby, making crap like this to put on the internet for people to enjoy, just because it's fun, making things and then having people watch what you make. So that's basically the main reason. Hi. Seeing this? Hey. What are you doing? What are you looking at? Hold on. Tough. Okay. Good enough for me. Transition back here. Yeah, that's one thing that I don't quite know how to do effectively in OBS is transition between two scenes that have a camera on them, which there's a whole technical thing I could explain right now, but I'm not going to because that would be more boring than the stream already is. So instead I'm going to go back to what I was talking about. 1K, it's cool. I'm not like, you know, over the moon about it. Like, it's still super impressive, and, you know, awesome that we've made it this far, but also like, okay, this wasn't, I never planned for this, so it's not like I was, you know, patiently waiting for this moment. Besides, it's not like that number reflects, you know, the actual like views and whatnot that I get on video. So it's like, out of those 1,000-ish people there are, you know, there's like a small subset of, I want to say, you know, generously like 50 who actually somewhat regularly watch the content that I put out now, and the rest of those are either alt accounts for those 50 people who've, like, maybe they forgot their passwords at one point or something, or they're people from the resource pack videos that subscribe just, you know, because it's like, oh, I like this video, and because I liked it so much, I'm gonna do something a little more powerful than a regular like. I'm gonna subscribe. What is your deal? Sorry I offended you, my god. So I'm going to subscribe, and then they just never watched a video again and never bothered to clear out their subscription list, which I encourage you to do. Go through your subscription list and clear it out. Just, I do that all the time because it bothers me having a bunch of subscriptions to people that I just don't watch anymore. Anyways, completely off topic. Yeah, and then, sorry, this is mine now. But I mean, that's like the subset of people who are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Like, there are the 50 people who actually watch the videos, and then the like 950 other people who haven't watched a video since like maybe 2019. So it's like, is 1,000 really that big of an achievement when it's like, you know, 950 of those 1,000 are... Did I say you could sleep there? It's my bed, man. My bed. I don't know. It's so cool. I'm gonna make a video about it. It's just not gonna be like a... Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. This is absolutely overwhelming. It's all because of the fans. Because it's like, no one... Like, sure, I can understand. There's a time and place for that. Like, you know, if it's your dream to reach 1,000 subscribers, sure, shoot for it. You can be happy about that. That's good. That you have, you know, goals and hobbies and interests and passions. I just don't care that much. So that was... No. Come here. No, sorry. I have learned the hard way to not let her do that, where she will crawl onto my desk and then crawl in between my two monitors and try to get behind. The only problem is back there is a bunch of cords that she's probably going to unplug. Therefore, I try to not let her get back there. Anyways, I completely lost my train of thought there. This is a mess of a stream. Yeah, so I'll do some for 1K. It'll probably be some kind of video. It probably won't be like the 300 subscriber special, which, I mean, that is an ancient video at this point, and then I never did like a 400 or a 500 or a 600, 700, 800, 900. I mean, the reason I did those back then was because I was definitely more into the whole YouTube thing back then. So those were like super big milestones for me, and then slowly it's like, okay, guess I'm just making stuff now. And then I stopped making those subscriber specials. Also because after like 300, every 100 doesn't feel as special. Like the first 100 subs, that's absolutely amazing. You know, like you've managed to get 100 people who liked your content so much they decided to subscribe. But in like 200, you know, you've doubled that number. Like that's super impressive. 300, still awesome. 400, I mean, you got to 300. You just keep going at that point. I don't know. The plan for the video is gonna be some stupid skit. Me and, you know, like Connor and some other people, we talked about this skit before. It was a genius idea that I had. Except that it's probably not genius, and in fact I should probably get rid of it before I try and get any kind of full-time job. And I'm not going to really talk about it here. I think I probably talked about it before on other streams, but I'm going to refrain from talking about it on here, just because the 1K is actually coming up. Before I said it not expecting to get to 1K, but now it's like, oh, it might actually happen. So I'm going to go ahead and refrain from that. But just know that if I do it right, it's going to be funny. And if it's not, then you all have the right to unsubscribe and unfollow and report me to the CIA because I have made terrible content. It also depends on if I can get that video out, which I guess could bridge me to another topic that I can talk about for a couple minutes. And it's the concept of editing videos. If you have not, I would encourage everyone to try and like edit a video at one point. Just because I think it's interesting, and so much of our world today is, you know, watching edited content, you know, like on social media and whatnot. Like even if you know, just like boot up, what is it, like Microsoft Clipchamp or whatever they call it now on Windows, or you download CapCut and start throwing together some short form content for like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Reels or whatever. Just make some videos, man. Making videos is fun, you know? Like it doesn't have to be this high pressure, high stakes thing. Just make stuff. Make stuff with your friends. And that all kind of leads into me saying that, you know, the way that I've been making videos, my editing process is terrible. So, like, do as I say and not as I do, basically. Like, I don't know, I you know, it's like procrastination and whatnot, or motivation or whatever. I'm not sure why, because, like, there's no real deadline for these, because I'm not making money off of these videos, and it's not, like, my main source of income. And yet still, I like sit on these videos and barely edit them. I don't know. It's just my editing process goes like, you know, get the video like recorded. This is a cool biome, by the way. Like I get that I'm playing Minecraft and I'm just like running around and doing nothing right now, but just trust me on this one. But you know, like the editing process for me, anyways, is like, you know, record the video. So get the raw footage, which will normally be an hour or 2 hours long. And then you do an initial pass through all of the footage and the audio as well, where I just go through and like cut it and like make all the trims and stuff. So cut out all the silent bits, all the flubs, like the beginning and the end, where I'm just like, you know, where I just started the recording and I'm like clearing my throat or whatever, or at the end where I'm going over to OBS and turning it off, stuff like that. And that's like the initial pass, and then I go through maybe 1 or 2 more passes where I actually like do, you know, add images to the screen, add text to the screen, add sound effects and music to the background, and stuff like that, zooms and whatever. And I don't know if that is the most effective editing process. It might. I think my theory on it, my game theory on it, is that by having like that initial pass of just cut just constantly, going through, like, especially with me, because I'm not a very interesting person, which once again leads me to ask how I've gotten this far on YouTube. You know, it's like I'm not a very interesting person, so having to listen to me, usually me alone, for like 2 hours, and having to listen to parts multiple times to like make sure that I got a cut right or something is dreadfully boring. Like you've seen, like I've done a couple editing streams, and you can kind of tell. Whoops. Oh, there goes my chest. Sorry. Whoops. You can kind of tell that the editing process is not nearly as interesting. I mean, like after, you know, you get through the cut and stuff, adding all the funny stuff, that's interesting. But everything in between that is super boring. So I think that might be one of the reasons why I'm not uploading as regularly as I should be, just based on all of my circumstances. So I had this idea to kind of resolve this by so like the big video, I mean there's a bunch of videos that I kind of have that are like in various states of completion right now, but the big one is part 7 to the changed series. And I mean the changed series is always the big series, at least for right now on my channel, because of course it is. And so I try to put a lot of effort in those videos. It's just that those videos normally have super long, you know, raw footage. So it's a slog to cut through them. So to give myself a bit of a break, I decided to record a different video, and then I told myself that instead of, you know, doing all the crazy edits that I would normally do, or at least try to do, I would instead... Is there a spider coming for me right now? Is it below me? Probably. I said that I would calm down on the editing a little bit, you know, like maybe make the video slightly longer. It might not be as interesting per se, and it probably won't get as many views, but you know, it would at least give me, you know, a chance to kind of still get a video out, but not have it take 27 years to do so. So that was kind of the thought process behind me recording. The game I recorded was Freddy's Reanimated. It's a FNAF fan game that came out semi-recently. We actually, here on Twitch, we played a demo version of it not too long ago, and then the full version came out. So I played that. It was, I want to say, about a 2-hour long recording, and then you know, I just threw it in and I said, okay, let's just do some simple edits, some simple cuts, maybe a few images, and then some just like slap some background music in there. And so I did that. I did that for a while, and I was making quite a lot of progress on the video. And then I started adding more, because I was like, oh, this could be funnier. And then I added more and more and more. And it's slowly become like a regular video again. I don't know. In reality, all the stuff I'm saying here really doesn't mean anything. It doesn't flow naturally at all. It's literally just here to, you know, remove dead air. It's interesting. I haven't fully figured out how this thing works in here. But it is so strange. So yeah. TLDR, TLDW, TLDL, whatever. Go make content, put it on YouTube or TikTok or whatever social media platform we want to use, because it's fun. I think everyone should make videos because videos are fun. So there you go. That's my TED Talk. That's another thing we could talk about. I guess we talk about the Minecraft movie, of which I can say very little because I have yet to see it. I have not seen the Minecraft movie, even though it came out like what, a week or two ago, I want to say at this point. I still have not seen it. I intend on seeing it when there's where I live, there's a much bigger, it's more of a city, even though, you know, compared to anywhere else in America, it's definitely like a town. But north of me there's a city, and they have this pretty big theater that gets movies regularly on time, but it's a bit more expensive. Um, and I normally don't go to that theater just because I don't know, it's just not my favorite theater to go to, and I like saving money. But then south of where I live is a much smaller town, um, where they have a theater where like tickets are, and people who know where I'm talking about, you can correct me. It's like, I want to say $4 per ticket, um, and concessions are pretty cheap as well. So I normally wait until stuff goes down there. The only problem is stuff goes down there like usually about a month later, for reasons I don't recall and I don't want to say just in case I get it wrong. Um, so I'm waiting, and I'm like trying my best to avoid. I guess no, you can have that back. That was me to me. Um, I'm trying my best to avoid spoilers for the movie as much as I can. Besides, like the teaser trailer that I watched forever ago, and like some of the memes that are incredibly hard to avoid. Um, but yeah, from what I've heard, it is a pretty like subpar movie. It's not. I'd say it's like slightly below average, from just what I've heard. I don't know. I'll find out when I go watch it. Um, but I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I hope that at the very least it's gonna be funny just because of how like cringy or cheesy or bad it is. And it's not just gonna be like a bad movie that I'm going to actively dislike watching. Which is kind of how I walked into the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I was like, okay, I have faith in this one. I definitely had more faith in the FNAF movie than I did in the Minecraft movie. I watched this. I was gonna be like, okay, this is gonna be a good movie. I have faith, and in my opinion, it was. Obviously, in many other people's opinions, it wasn't, because they were expecting more horror. They were expecting it to be closer to the games. They were expecting this. They were expecting that. But from like the perspective, from my perspective, which is obviously just an individual perspective, of someone who's been with Five Nights at Freddy's since what, like 2015, I want to say, like early 2015, and I have like stayed fairly consistently on the train of Five Nights at Freddy's rather than like being there and then dropping it and then kind of coming back to it. I thought it was a good movie. It had like I understand the reason why it wasn't like rated R or anything like that, because at the end of the day, this is the first FNAF movie. You're trying to appeal to all different types of people, for the movie that's been like a decade in the making. You're trying to get all the OG FNAF fans, all the new FNAF fans, even people who aren't FNAF fans. And you're trying to encompass that all into a movie, especially in a franchise that, even though its themes are super dark, it's a lot of children like this franchise. So you got to make a movie that they can go to because they're such a huge part of the fan base. So I think that Scott Cawthon and Blumhouse and all those guys did a great job of that, with all the little hints at stuff that the fan base has, while also making it fairly original, which I don't mind personally, because like at the end of the day, FNAF 1, your whole gameplay was like you can't see my mouse, but just know that I was flicking back and forth across the screen, and it's like, do you really want that just as the movie? That be it? Like, there's fan movies that you can find that do something similar to that while telling their own story, but just like having like the raw FNAF 1 gameplay and that be like the basis of the movie would be incredibly boring. I mean, you could probably pull it off, but it's definitely not a movie I would want to watch. So I think they did a pretty good job of that. Well, it's 30 minutes, and I feel like I've met my quota for now, and I've determined that the webcam works pretty good. So expect to see this in upcoming YouTube videos, YouTube streams, Twitch streams, shorts, Jack Williams videos, yada yada yada. I don't know. like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the webcam, but I'll leave that up to other people to decide whether or not they like the webcam more than I do. But it's an option. We have it. So that's it. There was Minecraft kind of in the background while I played this. Whatever. So I'm gonna do the funny thing where I do OBS stuff and flick between, and there we go. Cool. All right. So yeah, with all that being said, this is a quick test stream. Thank you all for watching. Go watch the better stuff on YouTube, or you can go watch the previous Twitch VODs. There's a playlist of that on my YouTube channel as well. There should be links below the stream. Like I said, I'm still not great at Twitch, so. But yeah. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Do I have anything else to say? No, not really. I get here. I have a proposal. You want to check something out? Let me show you something real quick. Let me show you kind of what I was talking about earlier with the whole, like editing thing. It's like, here's, once I get it pulled up, let me adjust stuff. I have it set up for multiple screens, but so here, if we just look at this timeline real quick for Freddy's Reanimated, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is the raw footage, and as you can see, this was supposed to be like simple, like cuts, maybe a few images, that was it. And it's kind of, it's a lot more now, basically, which isn't bad, but it just means that I'm still only on like the beginning part of the third night of the game, a game of which I play 5 nights. So I don't know. That's my little rant. I'll shut up now, but there you go. So with that, I'll go ahead and I'll actually stop it here. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye. And go subscribe on YouTube, because 1,000 subs would look cool on a resume. Thanks.